Hi my friends, and a very warm welcome to my bookish channel. I'm Lily and today we're going to be talking about Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Oh my gosh, this freaking book, I totally get the hype of it. If you like fantasy adventure, dragons, smoldering enemies to lovers vibes and spicy scenes, then this is a must read for you. As there are some very spicy scenes, I would definitely agree with the adult rating on this book. As always, we begin with the bullet points and the summary before I give you my personal impression and the conclusion. If you want to know something about the author Rebecca Yarros, check out this video. So now let's jump right into it. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros is an adult romantasy novel rated for readers 18+. It was published on April 5th, 2023 by Entangled Publishing LLC and has 512 pages, which is a reading time of about 8.5 hours. Similar books are The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins or Divergent by Veronica Roth or A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. This to the bullet points, let's go to the summary. In this story, we follow 20-year-old Violet Sorengale as she enters the elite and brutal Basket War College with the hopes of becoming a dragon rider. She wasn't prepared for this challenge because she lives a quiet life and is all into books and history. That's why she trained her whole life to become a scribe like her father, who died. But her mother is the commanding general and ordered her to join the war college. There she's one of the 100 striving candidates who fight to death to become Navarre, the elite troop of dragon riders. Life for Violet is hard in this merciless war college. She lacks the skills and she actually has far too good a heart to compete in this unforgiving environment. She's smaller and much more fragile than all the others who practice physical strength, endurance and fighting all their lives. All the tasks that the contestants must master in order to get ahead are physically insanely demanding, require skill and involve deadly dangers. But Violet takes advantage of the fact that she's underestimated and compensates what she lacks in strength with brain and perseverance. But there's the tricky situation of there being fewer dragons who are willing to bond than cadets. That pushes the ambition of the aspirants to the extreme and some become murderous competitors in order to better their own chances. That's why death is only a heartbeat away, and dragons don't bond with fragile humans, they incinerate them. But when a dragon has chosen its rider, the bond between them is unique and gives the rider a special magical ability that corresponds to the personality. Everyone in the war college has an own agenda, and to make matters worse, there are also children of the former Basket rebels in the war college, and they are not at all well disposed towards Violet because of a deep-rooted grudge against her mother, and they would kill her just because she's her mother's daughter. Then she falls for Xaden Ryerson, the leader of them, and the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. Violet soon learns who is actually on her side and who really wants her dead. Meanwhile, the war outside grows and becomes more deadly and the kingdom's protective wards are failing. Violet begins to suspect the leadership of hiding a terrible secret. What is it that no one's supposed to know? Well, that to the summary. Let's move on to my impression. First, I'm going to tell you what I like. I fell in love with this story. I like that the story is fast-paced from the beginning and provides an uninterrupted adventure filled to the brim with tournaments, with a lot at stake and fast-paced dragon flights. One of my favorite things besides the dragons, of course, is Violet, the main character. I love headstrong heroines. Violet is compassionate, smart, loyal, and perseveres even though the odds are stacked against her. Her character development is great and corresponds to a real hero's journey, which made it a bit predictable, but it didn't bother me. I like that her outer appearance contrasts with her character because it gives her multidimensionality. Quote, "Fascinating, you look all frail and breakable, but you're really a violent little thing, aren't you?" End quote. She's sassy and fierce, and I liked reading from her point of view. This gave some extra depth to her character, and she's far from perfect and has to work hard to survive, which makes her human and relatable. The male main character, Xaden Ryerson, is a too hot to handle badass book boyfriend. He's mysterious, loyal, caring, and portrays with an emotional depth. And he surprised me more than once. Then there's this smoldering attraction between them, despite they are enemies, and sparks fly when they have their stolen, forbidden moments. The back and forth between his resistance to his feelings for Violet and his desire for her is captivating. I love the dynamics between them, and especially their mind to mind. And there's a queer normative world, and the dragons, don't even get me started how amazing they are. I've always been a fan of dragons. They are powerful, smart, and dangerous. I adore Tern and Adorna. They have such great personalities, and the way they bonded with their riders reminded me a lot of the Aragon series. And they can communicate telepathically, which also transfers to their riders. This led to many entertaining moments. There's something so romantic about the idea of being tied to someone else, and Yarros has woven it so beautifully here. Of course, I love the magic in this book. It's unique and powerful. I love it when the stakes are high, and in this war college you either graduate or die. What's more to add? There are clear agonists and really strong antagonists, which I like in a book. And in this one, it made me root even more for Violet. And I love books where no character is completely safe and you can't predict who will make it to the end. This makes it unpredictable and adds to the tension. The cohesion of the writers, which goes beyond a normal friendship, made the story even more emotional. These secondary characters are well thought out and described very clearly and empathetically, so I sympathized with them and sometimes had my heart broken. The women are strongly portrayed there as well. The language and narration style are easy to understand, fluid to read, and quite engaging. The world building was not the best, but still detailed enough to get a sense of the setting. I think there are a lot of good twists and turns, especially for me the final revelations were not predictable and had quite a bit of surprise. I love it when I'm surprised. Who doesn't? Last but not least, there are so many thrilling moments. The tension is fantastic. It's there right from the beginning and remains high throughout the book, eventually leading to the story ending with a cliffhanger. This to the things I liked. Now let's go to the things I didn't like. In my opinion, there are quite a lot of side characters and some names sound similar. It took me a while to get to know the core of them. That's why, especially at the beginning of the book, I wasn't that invested in them, and though it didn't affect me that much when they left or died. A richer and more defined world building would have leveled the story up even more. I also longed for a multiple point of view, which unfortunately didn't exist until the very end. I think that would have made the story even more vivid. The dragons are very sophisticated with amazing personalities. I would like to know more about their motivations and where they came from. One minor criticism: the sexy scenes are described a bit too explicitly for my taste. Not much is left to the imagination. Then some questions remain unanswered. Why does their home need to be protected? I feel a little more backstory would have made the goal of the plot, other than to survive, more understandable. Also, it's not clear to me who the big bad guy is. I hope that in the second volume, Iron Flame, there's a bit more elaboration on this. But all in all, what can I say? Currently, it's my favorite book. I couldn't read it fast enough and was hesitant when the story was coming to an end, which really doesn't happen very often. Now we must wait until November 23rd for part 2 to come out. It's a breathtaking magic system with amazing dragons, bold characters, adventure, danger, risky trials, and a spicy enemies to lovers' romance. If you like that, then this book is a must-read for you. If you're not so into this genre, then this book might change your mind. It's fantasy at its best. In my opinion, this book is a mixture of House of Dragons and The Hunger Games and deserves every of the 5 stars I give. Did you ever step out of your usual genre? Have you read Fourth Wing yet? Let me know in the comments down below. This is it for today. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing to my channel, share and like this video. This would really help me out. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you soon in my next video. Until then, take care. Bye.